Good day and a warm welcome to you. Lovely that you can join this experience, this meditation experience. And was really thinking a lot, for me right now as I'm speaking to you, it's the beginning of my day. It may not be for you, but often at the beginning of the day, the way it starts is we immediately begin reflecting on all the things we have to do. So I have to do this and that, and the busyness of our day. That's kind of how our day often starts. What we like to do, what we don't like to do, responsibilities, obligations, as well as enjoyable activities. And extremely busy. I mean, we've turned into human doings. But in terms of this spiritual study that we're involved with, this Raj Yoga, it is described, and this is in the Gita as well, that the highest act, the most elevated thing someone can do in the day, for which they'll get the greatest return, I suppose, the highest act is an act of service, is to serve. And so, wouldn't it be great if we could go through the day in a sort of benevolent mode, benevolent form, serving? And when we think about that, then we start to think about all these big actions we have to perform, these grand acts that we have to perform. What again I love about this spiritual practice called Raj Yoga is that to turn an act, transform a simple act into a serviceable or benevolent act is very simple. I just have to internally be aware of the truth, aware of who I am, who everyone else is, and what unites us, who we all belong to, so that we're all souls and we're all children of the Supreme Soul. I just need to be aware of that as I go through the day, and automatically my actions will be transformed. But it does require sincerity. So I loved the simplicity of this practice. But it's, even though it's simple, it is the most challenging thing I have ever encountered. To remember something so simple and so incognito while performing actions. We can remember a lot of other stuff, but to remember something that quiet while performing actions is a challenge, and quite frankly, our ego doesn't like us to do it. Our ego wants a show, it wants outcome, it wants recognition. So we focus instead on the act. Is the act big enough? Is it bold enough? Is it good enough? And we forget the most important part of the act, which is actually the awareness, the attitude, the intention, the invisible stuff. So it's quite an interesting endeavor to perform a serviceable act. And what it was coming into my mind as was the comparison between, a beautiful bouquet with all of these ornate flowers, big and bold, and yes, a lot of love there, of course, versus one single, simple flower that can easily be looked over. So that single, simple flower, if there is not a trace of ego, is far more fragrant than an entire bouquet. So let's go in and see if we can start to explore that remarkable balance of being aware, being awake as I perform actions, so I'm not sleepwalking through the day. Sitting comfortably, I become aware that I actually have to sit down in order to begin to master the balance, the art of operating as a human being, an embodied soul, that I have become out of balance. I've become a human doing, just caught up in the activity and the return, the outcome of those activities, and completely forgotten the most important part, the part about being. I've forgotten myself. And so I have to stop moving around and just sit still like I'm doing now to correct that imbalance. And this is just step one, to just get that other side operating, not just action, but awareness, that inner alignment called spirituality. I immediately turn my attention inwards, feeling all the energy that had become fragmented and dispersed through the physical senses, the eyes and the ears, bringing all that energy back into a single point, a single focus. So much so that awareness of the body, the pull of the senses completely diminishes. So focused, all my energy concentrated into a single point of awareness. It's like coming back home, resting in the awareness of who and what I am. I am the being, the living being, the life in this body. This body, which is temporary and physical, it belongs to the outer world. It is not the outline of me, it is the outline of the outer world. It belongs to the chair in which it sits. And then there's me, awareness, consciousness, me, a point of living energy, able to think and feel, dream and remember. I look out through the eyes, listen through the ears. I am here, operating from behind the forehead, that place from where it feels thoughts originate. It's not that I have a sensation in the forehead, I am that sensation. And the body is wrapped around me. I'm hidden here inside, completely invisible, but very real. I do exist. I can feel my own presence. I have to be seated, quiet, still, thinking of nothing else, in order to touch and experience and stabilize in the subtlety of myself. Takes all of my attention to become aware of myself as I am, what I am, and how I am. A sign that I have connected with myself is that I automatically, very naturally, feel calm, peaceful, light. Letting go is very easy. And in time, I begin to reforge my connection to the Supreme Soul, my true eternal parent, from whom I inherit my true character. It is effortless when I am in the experience of being a soul. I sit here in this experience, holding it gently, subtly, for as long as I can. I can feel there is opposition. The forces of forgetting pull on my mind, try to numb the experience, pull on my intellect. The doingness is always knocking on the door of my mind. I am not violent, but I am determined. Always coming back to the point. My objective to deeply imprint this experience on my psyche. What it feels like to just be a soul. This is how I use the seated time, not to check out, but to check in. And even to start to strengthen that link of love, connection, relationship with the Supreme Soul, the one being who is dedicated to reinforcing, empowering, nurturing, strengthening my own state of being, the one being around whom I am always a soul. And my final thought before I come back into sound and action, will I be able to maintain this stage, this awareness, this experience as I act and interact? That is my assignment. Can I remain in this subtle, soft place as I interact with the physical world? Spirituality in action, simple, but very different from what I've been doing. Just being. Om Shanti. All my best wishes for your day of being. Om Shanti.